She's a friend of mine, darling. She said, Crystal, darling, don't go, because you're not going to get it. And that's why all the true beauties didn't go. But she wasn't looking beautiful tonight. But she wasn't looking beautiful tonight. But she wasn't looking beautiful tonight. Look at her makeup. It's terrible. 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 Terrible.
You know, it's that time, darling. It's the Diva Hour, where the legends and the icons come out. Today, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. By the way, I want to give a great big shout out to Danny Tiberius Ninja, helping us very hard behind the scenes. He is also our program director. He works very hard behind the scenes. But ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the night is here. I have Julián Oshún Magnifique. Say what's up, Julián.
Hola, what's going on?
Hola, señorita cosa.
Exactly, what's going on, people? Many blessings and all that good stuff, and Happy New Year, even though we're in February.
Yes.
Before anything, I would like to, shout out to you guys. I appreciate the fact that you guys actually called me up, hit me up, text me, Facebook me, and all that great information, and sent tons of great energy towards my direction, which is one of the reasons why I wanted with you guys. I thought it was going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun, and with all that, I'm happy and I'm extremely excited. But before anything, I would like to do some shout-outs. Is that okay?
Oh, definitely. Go ahead.
Because I have to do some shout-outs. I have tons of children. I have tons of talent.
Yes, darling. Name them all. All the time in the world.
I do. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my gay father, Hector Extravaganza.
Ooh, that's my grandfather, darling. I love you.
Then afterwards, one of my first gay brothers, which is Luna Khan.
Ooh, my brother, darling.
Then I'm going to actually send love and blessings to a couple of people that had passed away many, many moons ago, which was my late brother, my late gay brother, mother icon Willie Ninja.
Yeah.
Also, the two people that brought me to the House of Milan back in before, like the 90s, which was Terry Milan and then Roger Milan. So many blessings, rest in peace to the three that I mentioned that had passed. We always are still talking about you, and we're always thinking about you, and I'm always lighting a candle and blessings towards your direction. Amen. Please let them know. Also, I would like to also shout out to my children. So there's a list. La primera is going to be my daughter Delilah Milan, and then it's going to be Mariana Milan. Then it's going to be my gay son Carlos Rosario, and it's going to be my gay son Manny Gonzalez. Then it's going to be my lovely daughter, right off of the nerves, Carmen, and I named her Carmen Icon. Sorry, sorry, Carmen. Mia Yasmin Torres, Dimitri Chong, Lucy, Mr. Choo Choo, Valerie Prodigy, now 007, Jada, and also Giovanni that lives in Florida. I think that's it. And if I forgot, I'm sorry. I love you, darling. That's me.
Yes, welcome to the show. I am so honored to have you on the show, Julián.
I'm also, thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna calm down with the claps real quick, All right, Julián, let's start from the beginning. How was it? How was it, living and growing up, as Julián?
Well,
in the household.
Let's start. Like my household, how was it to be Julián in general?
Well, what kind of household did you grow up? First of all, let's start off with that.
Okay, well, Latino. I was raised with my grandmother and my mother, and I had two uncles at the time that we all lived in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, shout out.
Shout out to Park Slope, darling.
Hello.
All the girls.
God damn it, got to. So, Brooklyn. Sorry. So Brooklyn. Everything was normal. Everything was fine until like mid-80s. And I'll explain why. I was born in 1971, so that makes me 43 years old, and I'm extremely proud of it. If you don't believe me, then look at my pictures.
If you don't believe me, get into the cover girl picture, honey.
And that picture was taken. That picture was taken 3 months ago, so it's recent. Also, everything was fine. Everything was fine and dandy. It's just the fact that I remember the 70s. I really love the 70s. That was great. It's just getting into the whole entire 80s, mid-80s is when everything kind of changed, when I saw the world change. And that's kind of when I was going to some semi-puberty. But you can see around the neighborhood, and you can see around, the country that HIV hit. And when HIV hit AIDS, it was dramatic. It was devastating because it was just taking so many people. And this is before I went into the ballroom scene. Okay. And then also it was a time of crack. Ooh. So from HIV and crack, that's exactly.
My house was
From HIV and crack is what I was like, what the hell is going on with my block? My block was all about block parties, and it was like Yang, La Lupe, and everybody was singing Celia Cruz. And all of a sudden you're going, bitches where? She's in rehab, and bitches what? And you look at somebody scratching, and you're like, okay, so it changed. It changed a lot. In my household, I was fine. I never was any different than what I am now, from the fact that I was always a, fluent child. I was always, feminine. And I was never chastised with my family for that. That was other people that had issues with me. And kind of hard when I was actually the eighth homosexual in my family. So, shout out also to my cousin Celeste Extravaganza. So I have a transgender in my family. So you really couldn't read me. Like a transgender from back in the days, from the 80s. So when the house first started Extravaganza, she was a member. So this was someone that I kind of looked up to. I do look up to, and we still stay in touch. And everything was kind of, hunky-dory. Everything was good. It's just, when I came out, that was...
What was the first... How did you come out, by the way?
I came out... Really, what's fierce is that I didn't come out. I didn't come out. Now I'm a loca, but I'm saying I didn't come out. All through junior high school, elementary school, I was picked on because of the fact that I was mixed. And either the hair or the color from everybody in general, they didn't know where to place me. And then because I was wearing,
white, honey, you're not black.
No, I'm not. I'm black and Puerto Rican. And they were like, you're very light skinned and your hair was a certain way. So the morenos and the black people and anyone of color didn't really understand where I was coming from. And then people that were Latino were trying to judge me because I was black. So it was a lot of in between that. Wow. High school, you couldn't fuck with me. I don't know what happened in high school. I don't know what happened in the 80s that...
Hey, yo, man!
Honey, when I went into high school, I was new wave. I wore all black. My hair had curls on the top. It was platinum blonde on the sides. And I was a Madonna freak. You couldn't stress me. I walked into high school as a freshman. Or it was a sophomore. I went in as a sophomore. When I was a sophomore, became extremely popular, started dancing in the dance ensemble, fashion shows.
Yes. And
what happened is that I turned on the television, and when I turned on the television, they were talking about the Love Ball. And that's how voting started.
On the television?
Yeah, I just turned on Channel 9, and they were talking about the Love Ball, and I saw, rest in peace, Julián Oshún Magnifique, and he was voguing at the tunnel. And Michelle Visage, she was there, and she was voguing. I think she was a Magnifique as well. And Caesar Valentin was there. And you could see them on television, and I was like, those people look over. I didn't know if they were gay or straight, because I really didn't understand gay straight. I just knew that I liked what they were doing.
And what year was this again?
This is not 1990. This was it was before that. It was before maybe 88, 89. Yeah, so whenever the Love Ball was, but before the Love Ball, I saw them, they had a footage about the new craze in New York City, and I think it was 88 or 89 that they actually put it on television, which was phenomenal.
Ooh, wow.
So, because I was already in dance class, I was like, I can do that. I was like, that's over. I was like, I didn't use the word over because I didn't know the terminology exactly. So I said, I can do that. All my time stuff. Where I did it at school. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. For a year, I was hitting every other beat with the music that was on. But you couldn't tell me that. No, but you couldn't tell me that, which was the energy I was giving. I was like, it's over for me. And, you know, and when kids would come up to me like, you know, you're being shady when you Vogue, and I was like, well, what are you talking about, shady? We're inside a club. It's dark in here. Like, I didn't understand what they were talking about, shade. When they were like, it's over for you, I would look over my shoulder. So I was like, what the fuck are these kids talking about? Like, I had no idea what these kids were talking about. Well, I was like, what? What's this? And because of, mind you, because people did not like me and the energy I was giving at Red Zone. So this was not 1990. I'm going to keep on with that year. It was beforehand. It was the reason that the mother of my first house chose me to be a member of the house. She was like, they don't like you so much and I don't know why, but you have this energy and I want to incorporate you in my house. And I was like, what's a house? And the first house I went to was the House of Diva. And then that's kind of how that started. It started with voguing, and then the extension of Diva was a lot of the kids were members of the House of Magnifique. So I didn't know that until I became a Magnifique. But my first house was Diva. I had no idea what voguing really was. I didn't know what a house was. And I was confused 101 because 3 years in voguing, I still said I was straight. Mind you, I was pop dipping and spinning and I was twirling, but I was like, oh, I'm straight. Yeah, it was being loca, retardedness. Because I didn't know what it was. Like, I really didn't know the word, what gay was, and I didn't know anything. There was no reason for me not to know or to know. It wasn't that I was sheltered, but my mother was extremely, you know, on top of me and made sure that everything was okay for me. So I didn't leave Brooklyn until I was 16. I could not get into a train. You know, so when these kids say they were voguing when they were 13, I was like, where was the mother? No shade. Because my mother was like, you're not getting onto the train until you have to go to high school and they give you a train pass. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, ¿cómo esto? I was like, how am I supposed to go to a club? Well, the club, if it's 2 blocks away, you can. And they used to have local, like, you know, public school events, and they would have it after hours, like on a Saturday at 4 o'clock. And that's how I met fellow Voguers from the House of Legend, from the House of, Elegance, the very first house of Elegance, which is John Elegance Extravaganza's house. You know, I met them there, so it was a Brooklyn thing. That's kind of how I was infused into the world of Vogue. And I still didn't know, I still did not know about houses, so everything to me was Vogue. I didn't know that it came from a house.
How did you learn how to Vogue? Did you just watch it and pick it up?
Yeah, I watched it like crazy. Not watching, like, I just kept on, remember, this is 1987, 88, so there was no DVDs. I did not learn on YouTube. I didn't have that. Okay. I very much had to, I had to be in the street in Brooklyn and go to house parties and Vogue. So I learned from other Voguers. Like, if another Vogue was voguing, I was like, I can do that. I saw you do that last time at the club.
Who was the first one to come for you when you was in that era?
The first ones to come for me. All of them. All of them. When I started going into all the houses. All of them. I mean, I battled. There was a fierce battle at Red Zone that the House of Extravaganza had against the House of Magnifique. And I had to battle Tatiana. And that was the first time I fell into my strata. So I was like, what the fuck? I didn't understand what was going on, you know, so I was like, I'm in this world and you really gotta pump it. So that was my first battle, which was quite over, but that wasn't my first winning voguing. At Red Zone, there was a competition, and I didn't know that I was actually battling a legend at that time, which was, God rest in peace, Julián Oshún Magnifique. He was on the stage, and they were like, we want another voguer. And I had all my friends from high school, and there was a birthday party upstairs at Red Zone. And one of the Russian girls was like, Nina, go in, Vogue. And I was like, I'm not voguing. They're like, Julian, you can do this all day in school. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. These people vogue better than me. So I got up there, vogued my ass off, and it was the crowd that had to judge. So they turned off the music, and the crowd screamed. And it sounded equal to me. So I was about to walk off. And then they were like, no. Everyone started saying no. So I thought they were throwing shade. No, they were like, go back up. So then they did it again, and they put their hand, right down the white. They put the hand over someone, my head and his head, and they chose me. And that was my first win dealing with a Vogue competition. And I won $350, and I was extremely happy.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so I ran outside, and I called my house mother, which was the house mother of Diva, and she was like, well, how does it feel for you to be now incorporated in the scene. I was like, this is all love. Then the next day we did it, then I started doing shows and like performances at FIT, Javits Center,